There's many things I love about talking to people who are creative, people who do anything in business, who just really put themselves out there. But I will say one thing that absolutely infuriates me beyond reason, drives me up a wall. And I'm not even exaggerating when I get louder and shake my fist at this, are people who say how much they care about their ideas, but when you listen to them talk and you watch them work, are unwilling to be students of their game, unwilling to educate themselves. Why does this make me mad? Because I hear all this chest pumping, I'm so going to do this thing, I'm going to be great. It's all talk without any substance. It makes me wonder how much they really even care about what they're trying to do if they're unwilling to put the work in to be better at it, to understand even why it would be successful to begin with.
I'm sorry, were you talking about me?
I'm talking about all of us.
No, right, but we're all guilty of this, right? Is there's a certain point where we have all these great ideas we feel, and we share them with our friends, we share them with our family, thinking there's some value in them, to which some extent there are, but unless you're willing to act upon it, it's just hitting on deaf ears, right? Because unless you're willing to invest and take the time to pursue it, what's the point? And that's what's so important, is because when you're starting a journey, when you've got an idea and you want to pursue it, understand you're probably not equipped to actually go forward on it. So you have to learn. You have to equip yourself with knowledge, with skills, in order to be able to make this thing come true.
You know what? I come back to when I hear people talk about love. Love is not enough, they say in some things. Love is a component of something. You can love your project just like you love a person, but if you're not unwilling to put the work in, it will fall apart. So you might think there's validity. You might actually have an amazing dream or idea, passion to put in the world. But on the sales pitch side of it, how can you ask me to invest even listening, taking my precious time, if you're unwilling to invest in yourself, to actually show that you even know what you're talking about to bring it to life? Because otherwise, you're just talking to be told that you have a good idea. You're doing it just for validation. And if you're doing any of this only for validation, then you're in the wrong business. Because creativity is more than just getting a pat on the head and a validation brush of somebody telling you, you're awesome, you're great, everything's so amazing. How many times can you hear that before you don't feel like it's anything more than hollow?
And that's really the namesake of who we are, Big Bad. We all have big yet bad ideas. These ideas that we come up with, they're grand, they're amazing, and there's something to them. But when you're at the very beginning of the journey and you're just thinking about the what ifs, you're not seeing all the holes, all the pitfalls in the way. So you have to be able to start spending the time to learn, to educate yourself, because it's when you start doing that, you start realizing, oh, I didn't see that. I didn't expect that pitfall. I didn't expect that gap. And then you're able to fill it with knowledge, fill it with skill. So you have to learn, because otherwise you're going to fall right into those gaps.
All right, there's always something to learn. And education is one of those words that's almost become profane to a lot of people, because they're like, I don't have the time to take on another $100,000 with a debt or all these other things. Don't confuse educating yourself with going for more school. While there's a value, and I am a big proponent of public education and going to universities and growing that acumen, there's a world of information on YouTube, any number of blogs, and knowing that those are there. Educating yourself is the most important thing, because there's so much content we consume. Even the things you enjoy, where can you, when you watch them, are you watching them just purely for entertainment? It's the same thing you'll get with someone who's a movie buff. Somebody will say, why do you like this movie? And they're like, it was good. Are you that person who just knows, I enjoyed it? Or are you the person who looks and go, oh, the cinematography, this and that? Are you dissecting it if you're a creative? For us, I love the creative process. I love the behind the scenes. So when I watch things, part of the enjoyment is not just the narrative and the story that they're putting out. It's how it was made, trying to guess and pull out the threads. Now, that's not for everyone, but in the things you enjoy, if it's music, where do you pick those pieces apart and look at how even something that's adjacent to your interest can actually inspire you? It's to say, if you're a YouTuber and you like a financial blog, but you want to be the gaming YouTuber who uses that particular style, you can educate yourself on how they did it and extrapolate that into what you're doing. There's ways of bridging those gaps.
It's about looking at the world around you as a student. Be a student. Have that mindset in everything you do, because there's so much to learn everywhere. It's the same thing with creativity. Inspiration comes from everywhere and anything. You can learn from just about anything, anyone, at any point in time. You have to be in the mindset so that you're ready to receive those lessons that can be learned. Because if you're not looking through the lens of a student, you're missing lessons all around you, from the wisest of men to the youngest of children. There are lessons everywhere.
Oh no, I mean everywhere. You might be, I'm making YouTube videos. Why do I need to go to a bookstore? Or why do I need to look at these posters? And I'd say, hey, for most of you have the same tired looking YouTube thumbnails. Maybe you look at the layout on a really amazing book cover or a poster from the 60s from a band, and you go, I really love that. That's going to be really eye-catching. And it's an unoriginally original. And meaning that we all steal. Now, there's nothing original under the sun. The difference is, are you making something uniquely yours? And then kind of putting that into your space. Because I got to say, most of the time what we see is people don't realize where the inspiration comes from. You're copying other YouTubers or other things, which starts off great, but you're just a copy of a copy of a copy. And eventually you're just a poor fake version of somebody else. But if you take what they did and you take the pieces, the framework of why they're successful, and you put maybe you like those 70s, 60s rock bands, and you want to make all your thumbnails have tile sets that look just like a band, an album cover from that time, then you're doing something that's not unique, but unique to you and unique to the space.
Right, you're doing something unique in a unique way. You're delivering it in a unique way. And this really goes to the concept that Austin Kleon talks about in his book Steal Like an Artist. He talks about the genealogy of a creative. Because if you look through all of art history, what you'll see is that, old 1700 paintings are inspired by works previous to them. You look at impressionistic artists, and you can see the chain of influence and inspiration that came from artists before them. All art is inspired. There truly is nothing unique under the sun. And that's as it should be, and that's how it'll always be. The thing is what can I learn from this person over here, from this group over here, from this genre over here, and how can I imbue them new into the world?
No, because if you think something's original, as I say, it's because you don't know where its inspiration came from. It's those combinations of pieces that Mason just talked about that make it seem unique. It's taking that and flipping it on its head. Now, so who do you want to be? Do you want to be the person who just copies the person you already look up to, or do you want to see what inspired them? That genealogy of ideas means if you're inspired by a band, a movie creator, or anything under the sun, it's what inspired them. Then go up that chain as far as you can reach and find out where it came from. Then you can get it at its purest sense, and you can decide what that means to you. You're getting one piece of what you're inspired by, but you might find that you like actually other pieces more to make your unique puzzle.
Yeah, I don't know if this concept is original to Jake Parker, but Jake Parker is an illustrator, and he talks a lot about having a creative bank account. It's the idea of constantly consuming content and filling your mind with all these different points of things that inspire you, because what that allows you to do in the future is you can start connecting points together, and you create this nexus of something that, again, isn't unique, but it's unique because you thought of something in a different way.
And being a student of your game is also showing that you care enough about your work to know more, to be better. But beyond that, it helps you keep reinvesting. If you love what you're doing, and if you're doing it, you should love it. And not every day can you, though. It's like anything else. You have this relationship with your creation, and to keep investing yourself in it, you have to find that there are more stones to unturned, more things to discover that can keep you both growing, learning, and feeling fresh about it. It's also the things, if we're being pragmatic, that keep you from being stagnant and also keep you from falling into obscurity. Because most creative projects and people who even make it big, even the best musicians, think about how many of them, even the ones who are called one-hit wonders, they come in like a shooting star and are gone because they weren't sustainable. Now, and that's not saying that they aren't the student of the game. That's a very, very high-performing level of awareness for people to know who they are. But in this space, how many YouTubers rise and fall? How many of anything else? And the best way to stay relevant, and even after you fall out of maybe the top tier of consciousness, to stay performing, earning, and being able to do the things that you want to do, comes with being a student of your game, knowing how to add value and how to pivot after the fact.
It's about having a growth mindset. You don't ever truly arrive at any destination. You arrive to a point, but it's up to you to keep growing. And I like the point that you brought up, because if you stay stagnant, right, not only will you grow into obscurity, but what will that do to yourself? If you stop growing, how does that affect you as a creative? Do you get into a slump? You slow down? You're no longer inspired by the work you do? There's not only damage to being able to foster and grow an audience, but there's also damage to yourself as that creative.
Well, and that becomes a question again, as we'll keep coming back to so many things. What are your whys? Are you just here for validation, for earnings? While every one of us could use a little validation, a lot of earnings, once you get those things, do you just stop? Because was that what drove you? Or did this dream come from something more? Is it more than just a job? Is it something that, I mean, would you just like say, I've arrived and got there and then just be done for the rest of your life if you could cash checks? I mean, I'm sorry. To me, I think the idea of laying on a beach all day, drinking Mai Tais or whatever people drink and cashing checks when they talk about passive income and all that stuff sounds ridiculous to me and completely hollow and unfulfilling. It's because we work so hard we think we want that. But there's a reason that why people die when they retire. They lose purpose. This is your purpose. This is your dream. Whether it becomes from a side hustle to a main hustle or always stays that thing that you keep reaching for. This is your life force. This is your lifeline. This is one of many things to anchor you to why you're here.
Yeah, we are created to work. We have that in us to work, to create, to offer some real value in the community around us. And some of the things you'll see online about careers is there's kind of these three categories of work. There's the job, which is just, your paycheck to paycheck. There's this career that moves you forward, and then there's a calling. And that's what we're always after. We're after that calling, that thing that we can truly invest ourselves in. And that goes directly to understanding our whys. So wherever you are currently in your creative journey, whether you're just thinking about starting or you're already in the middle of the journey, constantly ask yourself, why am I doing this? What am I trying to get out of this? Because you may not understand your why fully in the beginning, but if you keep asking yourself those questions, you'll begin to uncover that and truly understand, and that'll help guide you and project you forward.
Right, so invest in yourself. Take the time to feel that you're worth it. Treat yourself. All the things I could say. This is your life. You only get the one chance. Are you just going to waste it? Or are you going to actually take the time to bring some validity to those dreams, put some oomph behind them, and have a higher probability of coming true? I mean, this is your voice. Are you so willing to quiet it before you even get started? Or are you going to just go buy that book, watch those videos, take that extra time piece by piece until you actually have enough knowledge and understanding of each of the pieces to be able to make something work? Don't confuse how unhappy you are at your job with how unhappy you are with work if the work is the right work.